This is Made for More Living with Johnny Jennings, powered by eXp Realty. Online at madeformoreliving.com.
So, Matt, have you heard of that axiom where you can have things done fast, well, or cheap, but you got to pick two?
No, I've never heard that. So
You've
you can
never
only
heard
pick
it?
2 out of the 3.
Yeah.
So if you want something done fast and well, it's not going to be cheap.
Correct. Or if you want to do it yourself, it's going to take longer, but the quality might be high.
Right. And it'd definitely be a lot cheaper.
It'd be a lot
I'm doing
cheaper.
it myself,
Yeah,
but it's going to take forever. If it will ever get done.
If it will ever get done.
like my backyard.
Your backyard. I was thinking like changing the oil, or those project cars. People are like, oh, I'm going to do it myself.
Yeah. My wife's really good at that.
Changing the oil?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. She's always changed the oil. I never knew how to do it until I got married, and she does it. She's great
So
at
she
it.
still does it?
Yeah.
Even
One time
though
I got home from work, and she's like down on the ground changing the car oil. I'm like,
Oh
yes,
my gosh.
I'm married well.
Lindsay, can you change oil?
I actually can.
Good for you.
I thankfully don't have to. I let that be something that my husband takes care of.
Right.
But before I was able to get a car when I was 16, my dad insisted that I knew how to change my own oil,
That's
change a
cool.
tire, check my fluids, all
Good
those
for
things.
you.
So
Wow.
it's been a little while. I'm probably a little rusty, but I could still do it.
That's awesome. Good for you.
Yeah. So, but the good news is, we were talking about fast, quick, fast, cheap, and well, right? The 3 different categories,
Right.
but you got to pick 2. The good news is with Lindsay and the JJ Mack team, they hit all 3. They're an exception to that rule. Speaking specifically when it comes to home loans, right? Because you guys close loans so fast, like lightning fast, faster than cash sometimes. We were talking about that in a previous segment, but can you explain a little bit why that's so important, why you guys have an emphasis on speed?
Yeah, it's become the edge in the market when competition is high. And if you maybe don't have an all cash offer or the highest bid sometimes to a seller, and we see it often, getting that loan closed as fast as possible is a huge selling point for a seller to accept a buyer's
because they want
offer.
the certainty.
Yeah.
Right.
And a big part of what we do for that is we get a lot of our clients fully underwritten before they're putting in offers so that they either don't have to write a loan contingency. It allows to close very quickly, but we have had plenty of situations. We have an incredible underwriting and processing back-end staff that allows us to close in 10 to 14 days.
10 to 14 days. And so let's tell a quick story. I think that there was a client that you were working with that was up against a cash offer, right? Can you share a little bit about how that played down with your guys' speed?
Yeah, that was the only thing that set them aside. They came up in price just a tiny bit. I think it was a $10,000 difference over an all cash offer on an almost $1 million property.
Oh yeah, that is tight.
So it wasn't the money wasn't a huge difference, but we said we can close in 13 days, and the seller said it'll take 10 to close cash. So if you can close your loan, we're willing to take the additional 10 grand and accept your offer over a cash offer. And we closed right on time, and they were able to get their house, and it was the reason the seller said that they got their offer accepted was that we could close it that fast. So.
Awesome. And so if you're feeling like you're getting beat out by cash offers, they should give you a call. They should reach out. Go ahead and give us a call. You can contact them at 530-GET-MORE. That's 530-GET-MORE, and we'll put you in contact with Lindsay and the JJ Mack team. So that way you can have a loan, an offer as good as cash. And but the other benefit too is people are probably thinking, man, I wouldn't be ready to move in 2 weeks. Whether you're moving out of an apartment or moving in your own home, well, don't worry. You don't have, just because you close on the home, that doesn't mean you have to move into it, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Once the house is yours and you have the keys, you can take your time. A lot of times the sellers just maybe need that money to purchase the next house.
Exactly.
They're moving, and that 2-week time frame is key for them to make their next move in their life. So as a buyer, your options are that you can, once those keys are in your hand and it's yours, you can move at whatever pace feels comfortable for you.
And oftentimes sellers aren't willing to move that, like aren't ready or capable to move that quick. And so what we oftentimes do is negotiate either a paid or free rent back for whoever we're negotiating or whoever we are representing. So that way all parties have time to get in or out of the properties. So when I say rent back, that means it's just the seller is remaining in the property for a period of time before they move on to their next home.
Yep.
And so, anyways, you can close quick, good as cash, but that's not all. No, that's not all.
But there's more.
I've been reading Cat in the Hat a lot, like for
It's
Jack.
a good book.
I almost have that book memorized.
We have the
Oh, yeah.
whole Dr. Seuss collection. Some of them are better than others.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're hard to read though sometimes.
What's
There's
the
some
one?
tongue twisters in there.
The
Oh,
orange one. That's not Hop on Pop. There's one where
Rocks and Socks or
Fox
something.
and
Fox
Socks.
and Socks. Yeah.
Fox and Socks
I do
and
not
Knocks
like
and
that
Box.
one. I don't like
Jack
it.
loves it.
Does he?
I practice it because I think maybe it helps me enunciate a little bit
There
better.
you go.
So I don't
Yeah.
have the
Oh my gosh.
the country mumble. But anyways, that's not all. Oh no, that's not all. It's the cat's jumping on the ball.
Yeah.
So, but that's not all. You guys also have a couple different loan programs. So if people are saying, "Hey, there's no way," because what are interest rates are somewhere at the time of this show in the high 6s, low 7s. So regardless of where interest rates are at, that is not important. Just imagine if you're getting quoted a 7% interest rate right now, imagine you can get an interest rate in the 6s or the 5s or maybe even in the 4s. Like if you're waiting for interest rates to come down, there's no need to wait any longer. We can get you a rent interest rate potentially down in the 4s. You might explain how that works, Lindsay.
Yeah, so it's a wonderful, effective strategy that we can use for any of our buyers to help alleviate some of the payment shock maybe of having those higher interest rates and give them some temporary relief until potentially interest rates are at a position where they could refinance into a fixed lower rate. And it's a temporary buy down. We have a 2-1 buy down, a 3-2-1 buy down. There's also a 1-0 buy down, which is just a 1 year buy down.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. And it
So what
is
that means, can you explain what that means in terms of buy down?
Yeah. So for the first year, your payment is either 1%, 2%, or 3% less than the rate that you are locked in at, depending on which of those, the 3-2-1, 2-1, or 1-0 program that you're using. And it subsidizes your payment to bring your payment down to reflect a payment at a 1%, 2%, or 3% lower rate than what you are locked in at.
So for 1 year, it could be up to 3% lower than what you locked in at. But then the next year it changes, right?
Yes. So if you were doing in the situation of a 3-2-1 buy down, your first year's payment would be 3% less. Year 2, it's 2% less. Year 3, it's 1% less. And then by year 4, it would resume your locked rate. And for most people, that period of time, they've had the relief in their payment, and the opportunity to refinance has presented itself so that they can lock into a lower interest rate, but feel the benefits of a lower payment in the meantime.
Yeah, and so it just really helps with affordability. It helps with that monthly. And again, so we're all about the not what if, but the even if. And what's great about this program that you offer is they have to qualify based on no buy downs, no credits, no nothing.
Correct.
Right? So when that time does come that they may be paying that whatever the current market rate is, if they have not refinanced at that point, they can qualify for it.
Yes,
So
that's a great point.
We're not giving people bad loans. We're not pushing people into home ownership or putting them in a situation where they may end up on the street or have to sell their home. We're making sure that you're able to afford it, but we're also able to provide you with this great benefit in the meantime.
Absolutely. And it can make a significant difference. We had a client recently that was able to do the 2-1 buy down. It was a purchase price in the $800,000 range, and the first year their payment was almost $900 less
A month. Wow.
than if they hadn't had the buy down. And it can make a bigger impact than just permanently buying your interest rate down. And I mean, it's still a benefit, obviously, but in this situation, it gave them a huge decrease in their payment.
And then what's great is if you dovetail this 3-2-1 or this rate buy down program with your streamlined refinance, they can get an interest rate that's 2 to 3% lower than market rate. If interest rates do come down, they can now do your streamlined refinance program where they get to refinance permanently for free, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
And a lot of times people feel, I would say one of the few things people say is, well, what if I don't go the full term, 3 or 2 years? But in almost all circumstances, you can use any remaining funds if needed to go towards covering some of your refinance costs. For us, we cover those. So it's, but
does it go towards principal then, or what happens to that money?
It would depend. So it would depend on how soon you refinance and how much is left.
Okay.
But I would say most people do usually ride out that first year or so because it's such a relief in their payment. And it would depend on a little bit where the market goes.
That makes sense.
If rates haven't come down 2% below where you are locked at, you may not feel the pull to refinance.
There's no point
because it wouldn't be a better payment than you already have.
Yeah.
So most people do ride that out, but if there's any remaining amount left, that can always go towards covering, if you were needed to have some taxes or insurance, like prepaid items.
It's like the impound account. So for those of you who are listening, like, what's an impound account? Like, I don't want my car getting repossessed. Like, this isn't an impound lot. This is an account that's where like your taxes and your insurance and all that stuff lives. And so sometimes you may, if you've owned a home, you're like, why is my payment going up? Okay, well, maybe taxes have been reassessed. Maybe your insurance has gone up. And so you need to reallocate funds for that impound account, right?
Yeah.
And so if you have money left over from this buy down program that Lindsay and the JJ Mack team offer, you can just put that into the impound account.
Yeah, you could potentially do that.
So there's no loss here in terms of dollars.
Yeah, and the funding for these comes usually from the seller of the home.
Yeah.
So it's really not necessarily any money lost by the buyer.
Yeah.
Which is great all around. They're getting this money, they're getting this subsidy covered that helps give them their relief in their payment as well. So.
And this is something that your realtor should be negotiating for you. Like, we have specific strategies and techniques on how to negotiate it so that way the seller is open, and not only open but wants to pay for your rate buy down. And so if you're interested in learning about how that works, just give us a call. 530-GET-MORE. You can shoot us a text as well and just say house or loan if you're wanting to learn more about the loan side, but if house, if you want the negotiation strategies, just 530-GET-MORE. We'd be happy to get you that information so that way you can get a lower interest rate and get into that home that you want. Any last comments, Lindsay? It's been an absolute joy having you on the show.
It's been wonderful chatting with you guys today. It's been a lot of fun. Thanks
don't
for
tell
having
JJ,
me.
but I think you're a better guest than JJ.
I won't tell him.
No, tell him.
Tell him.
That's the only way he's going to improve.
Yeah,
Okay. You
he
don't
needs to
improve
know.
unless you know the truth.
He needs to know,
Yeah.
Lindsay. All right, thanks again.
Thanks so much, guys.
So are you curious what kind of offers you could get on your home? Then reach out to the best in our area. That's Johnny Jennings and the Tom Daves team with Made for More Realty, powered by EXP. There's a reason, guys, why they have more 5-star Google reviews than everyone else in our area, why they sell homes 27% faster at an average of 3% higher selling price. Find out about their Fix It Before You List It program. Even if you don't have the time and the money to do those repairs, they're going to help you get that done so you can get your home on the market and sold as fast as possible. That's Johnny Jennings and the Tom Daves team with Made for More Realty, powered by EXP.